To be honest, I was never the type of person to take risks. Growing up from a conventional Asian household that conformed to all the stereotypes, breaking away from pre-med was the biggest act of defiance I had ever taken. However, everything changed in the fall of 2020. I made the biggest, riskiest decision in my life. I decided to pack up my things and relocate to a place that's 6,927 miles away, which is 11,148 in kilometers, since I'm now in the presence of metric system. Moving abroad was no doubt one of the most courageous acts of my life. There were the expected highs, tucked between the nooks and crannies of Seoul. Then came the unexpected aches in places I didn't anticipate. I've learned more about myself than the years I've lived combined. As it turns out, you never stop changing to fit the mold life presents you. Trying to blend in as a foreigner is an art of its own. Multitasking between finding work-life balances in an Asian work culture, feeling overtly conscious from being surrounded by conversations you could barely make out, and, well, as an Asian American, it's simultaneously the best camouflage and the greatest burden one could ask for. I carry the social anxieties of a foreigner and the expectations assigned to the locals I resemble. In the years spent away from home, I've cultivated a version of my safe haven, an ecosystem with trenches keeping me separated from the walls that were closing in. Then days turn into months, and then years. What had started as a boundary had somehow severed me away from the rest. The rest of us who also traveled far and wide to call Korea their new home. I feel like a waiting island, watching people shuffle in and out of my life like seasonal tourists. A repetitive cycle that starts and ends with countless hellos. The prospects of meeting others like me rekindles the excitement I've spent years trying to extinguish. I kept waiting to feel anchored, to plant a community in my vicinity, hoping they'll last through the seasons, hoping the saplings won't uproot themselves and the seeds won't die by July. Spoiler alert, no one ever stays, but pieces of them linger as reminders that took form in trinkets, words, moments, and photos I'm afraid to dig up, because it hurts to relive a temporal segment. It will only feel like jagged pieces ripped from a long dream, another indication that this was nothing but a pit stop. I guess that's the curse of being in the vortex of a travel hotspot. I reap the benefit and repay the rest tenfold. They stay like the type of hurt that could foreshadow the next scab, well before another trespasser even hovers near my perimeter. I begin to fear the sense of attachment and purposefully let the ground run dry. It would seem like I'm self-sabotaging, and you would be right. At times, I wanted to drift away with the others, but it wasn't a path made for me. This was a place I planned to call home. So, I stayed secluded and tended my grounds, clinging on to the familiarities I've stubbornly imported from home. Once in a while, I find a visitor who was too hard for me to let go. But I know you can see the ending miles away, because them too will leave before summer overtakes spring. I still struggle to allow myself to stay hopeful in this foreign land. Half of me would say it's pointless, and the other half is less heartless. I know the act of revisiting may bring aching nostalgia, but there's a distinct tenderness captured within. They symbolize a chapter of my life that will forever intertwine with the lingering echoes of their presence. Perhaps there's solace in their persisting essence that'll continue to mold me for the journey to come. And maybe that's why I stay waiting on my island, shuffling through the seasons, bracing for the waves, until the next, and the next, and the next castaway seeks shelter for their short stay.
My comrades.
Thank you for being good friends and coworkers. I'm happy I know you guys.
Thank you.
Ooh, look, it's us. It's the hug one. Wait, you're right. And they're crying. No, that's. And then there's the desk teachers, and then there's those foreign teachers. We're like, what's going on? And they're crying, and they're being like, damn, this sucks.